Brad, how has the week been as you build off 3-0 and trying to keep the team focused on just the next game?
Yeah, it's been good. It's been business as usual. Obviously, game debrief and recover from the big travel back, obviously, and playing on different conditions and in a hostile environment. And to come away with 3 points, of course, we're extremely happy about that. But the players, we took it upon ourselves to hit a hard reset on Tuesday when we got back to work. So it's been pretty much business as usual.
Does that seem to come easily to these guys to just, okay, that's behind us and move on to the next step?
Yeah, 100%. I see a group that's extremely hungry, ambitious, and humble. There's a lot of good energy around the group every day. There's a lot of good things happening. Obviously, momentum and success helps ease the cause, right, of all of that. But I think even if we weren't 3-0, I think this group would be eager and hungry for more. So, yeah, I'm just excited about every day having the opportunity to work with these guys and to see them grow as individuals, as human beings, and, players as well. I mean, we've had some good successes, but it's important for us not to get too ahead of the way, dreaming and keeping our feet on the ground. And I think that's been pretty much the message this whole week. And we've received little bits of information from everywhere. Everyone loves us at the moment. So we're just trying to forget about all that and stay with focus with the job on hand.
Does it feel different to be loved, to feel loved by?
Yeah, I mean, we knew as a group, we were confident of what we were doing. And during the planning and the preparations, we felt pretty confident about what we were doing, right? And we feel we had the right players in place to do that, exactly what we asked of them. And there's been great commitment within the group. So, if there was a feeling of where maybe, there wasn't that much of a buy-in on the philosophy, or maybe there's one or two pieces missing or certain things. But we feel very comfortable with our group right now. And, I think the hard work that we put in over 6-7 weeks of preseason is paying off. But we don't want to pay it off over 3 weeks. We want to pay it off over 12, 18, 34 match days. So this is our drive every single day.
Coach, one of the players told us last week that you were playing with house money. You going to be playing with house money again this week?
Who was that?
I can't recall. I asked Timmerman, didn't even remember.
Yeah,
but somebody told us that.
It's just we've earned 2 credits, right? So we earned 2 credits, and the best way to play is when there's no pressure. So the first 2 games were under immense pressure, right? So the pressure of playing, the very first game in Austin against one of the best environments in the MLS. Then you come home to the home opener, and now we know it's one of the best environments in the MLS because the fans brought it, right? So we didn't want to disappoint. So that lived on our shoulders every single day. We didn't speak about it, but of course it's with us, right? It inherently happens. And then we earn the right to play free, which was the best thing. Now we're just playing free, which is awesome. And the minute we can play free and with momentum, then it's difficult to contain and difficult to stop if you have the right mentality. And I believe the group has the right mentality, and I think there's a good energy.
Bradley, I know you always say there are things to improve, but wanted to ask you, after 3 games, and aside from the results, is the team where you expected it to be at this point of the season?
Yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, we've been quietly confident, right? We knew that the pieces we got early, and we knew that the pieces we got in the expansion draft and acquisitions and what have you, we knew that these guys were handpicked in order to play a certain way and a certain style. And they've all come from different environments, but with one common cause. The one common goal is to get better, to prolong the careers, to keep it going, or hit a hard reset, right? So we have guys who have a point to prove. They play with an edge. They play with something, for themselves or for their teammates. So everyone has a purpose, and we brought in good people for a purpose. And it's not up to me to know their whys of why they're doing what they do as pros. It's up to me to guide them and help them, all right, to achieve their targets and their objectives. So obviously we set internal objectives for us, and we reflect and review those every time. But we've always been confident about what we do, starting on day 1 with City 2 a year ago, 13 months ago. And now, we felt within that now we started working and planning from City 2 days, already planning for these days. So does it come surprisingly? Maybe to some, but I think to the people that work in the building who, empty the tank every single day, I think, it's not due reward, but I would say it's normal running procedure because we know what we're capable of.
Is it a challenge to embrace what you've accomplished this year, because there is an accomplishment, but at the same time trying to go through that hard reset and making it just a week by week sort of thing?
Yeah, I don't think that we can sell ourselves on 9 points and say that's great. Start to the MLS life has been really good, and then sit back and roll, get all relaxed. But I don't think that's our way. This group is different. The way they think, the way we speak about things, the way we want to achieve and go about the next target and the next game. And this team's been really magnificent to hit the hard reset button every single time. So, we want a clean sheet mentality now. We've gone down in every single game. Is that the type of, always environment we want to be? Yes, if we work back to win games and get 3 points, we'll take it. But over the long term, going a goal down early and not keeping clean sheets, that doesn't stand you well throughout a whole MLS season. So for us, the next objective is tighten things at the back, clean sheet mentality, and we go from there.
Coach, can you tell us a little bit more about the players that didn't really receive much of a playing time as of right now? Pedro and a couple of other guys as a first signing. What do you see their role as of right now, and what is your expectation?
So hugely important. I think those guys that you're not reading about now, they are the catalyst for our successes, what we're achieving right now. So, and I've told the boys the story, I don't want to talk about me and my career, but I finished second in the Bundesliga. We made Champions League, and I left the club that year. I didn't get much game time, but I knew my guy playing in my position, he had to bring it every single day in training and every single day in games because I was breathing down his neck. So, and this is the type of mentality we want within the group. So while only 11 can play and 18, 19 can roster up with an extra goalkeeper, 20 players on a travel day roster or dressing up here at home games, we know we have deep structure and a good roster, right? So we have belief in everybody and the guys who go play City 2 minutes to keep good rhythm, because we know Leagues Cup is coming, we know Open Cup is coming, we know there's a lot of opportunity to play games and to get minutes. And I think you can see the rotation of all the people who have got minutes, and Selmir might not be the one who's not getting any minutes now. It's always a hard case to argue with a back line and a goalkeeper who's remained intact, and 9 points later, we open up the discussion. So it's never easy. But those guys bring good energy, good attitudes on and off the fields, and they're open to listening and hearing what we're trying to do and training really hard in training. So that's all I can ask for them.
Coach, do you guys feel like you have a target on your back now that you're 3-0? You're on the brink of maybe being 4-0. Do you feel like maybe other teams feel they get more amped up to play you guys because they want to be the team that ends that streak? No,
we're playing against teams who are, a lot more sort of, if you look at paper, a lot more talented rosters, a lot more talented values on the transfer markets. If you look at, there's a lot of teams and we're coming up against, they've been around the block a few times. So, we always, like I said earlier, hit the hard reset, new mentality, new week, new work loads, and that's the most important thing. We don't really feel it's a target on our back because we've achieved nothing with 3 games, right? We've achieved nothing. Even if we break history on Saturday, it's still not... It's a nice little reward, but you don't get silverware, you don't get anything, you can't buy a loaf of bread at the bakery, it means nothing to you, right? So it might just be something that's written down somewhere, but tangible, we can't feel it, we can't celebrate it, it's nothing for us, right? So yeah, we want to win the next game. If it's 4 in a row, then it's 4. If it's 5, then it's 5. I really don't care. So we just want 3 points and collect our tally and achieve our internal objectives.
Coach, as you look at the number of scoring opportunities that you've had in the first 3 matches, when you crunch the numbers, does it equal out to how the team is played and the number of opportunities that you've had? Does that all kind of compute the way you thought it might?
Yeah, I think if you're number 5 on expected goals and number 1 for goals scored and I think number 2 for chances created or something to that effect. So I think in terms of the metrics, we actually looked at it this morning as a group and we see a lot of positive trends. But we have to be ruthless with that. We have to be relentless with our objectives. And yeah, if we're creating chances and we're scoring goals and we're creating chaos moments where we win the ball high up and steal a goal or 2, we'll take those as well. But I think if you look at our attacking sort of Gioacchini, Klaus, Sam Adinaran, Thomas Ostrak, Rasmus Alm, we have some really good weapons up the field that opposition teams are trying to figure out. You know, do we play with one striker? Do we play with two strikers? So, yeah, I think we're able to keep teams guessing a little bit. And, yeah, I mean, we're not a closed book. People know how we play. You know, they've seen a lot of video of us now over the last 3 games, plus preseason, 6 games. So, yeah, we just try to keep true to our principles and, yeah, try and hurt teams that way with what we believe in.
A little bit more of a reflective question, if you don't mind. Going back to the first game in this building a couple weeks ago, was there one moment, perhaps before, during, or after that game that has really stuck with you and felt really vivid in your memory these last couple weeks that have passed?
The full stadium tifo. For me, it was an emotional feeling for me. You know, just to live that moment, to be in that moment, to be on the sideline. How privileged I am, and how we were as players, as coaches, just to be experiencing this moment with the rest of St. Louis, who deserved that moment. And you know, obviously the 3 points is rewarding, but there was a lot more on the line that day than just the 3 points, right? So, yeah, like I said, for me it was very emotional and one for the memory bank.
Just a couple injury updates. Tim Parker left a little early yesterday and he wasn't out there today. So what's Tim's status?
Yeah, it's a day by day. We just have to monitor something, and he might be available for game day. So we're giving him 48 hours to rest and recover. You know, it's not the doctors said there's nothing tragic there. So it's all based on feeling and healing. So we'll see how he recovers over the next 2 days. And like I said, we've been going really hard for the last 9 weeks. And this week was designed to come down and taper down a little bit. So yeah, we've had some tough conditions, right? So different playing surfaces and artificial turfs and what have you. So I think bumps and bruises are normally expected. So we'll see how Tim recovers over the next 2 days. Jabulo Blom is the other one who's still out on the health and safety protocols. He will be out for this weekend, I can tell you that now. So unfortunately, we lose him for now the second game. So he's still got, you know, something going on. So yeah, we know that we have to come up with a plan, of which we do have one. So we're excited about the game and confident with the pieces that we have going out there.
And Jabulo, is he also called in by South Africa for their games coming up?
He has been, obviously. You know, I think he's been on a good run of form. And having a good run of form, you know, there were a bunch of players who came into question from the national teams, which is great reflection and reward for the players in question. So we'll have to see and monitor that over the next few days, how Jabulo recovers and if it even makes sense, you know. So we'll have to check with the federation what they want. Yeah, I've been on that trip many times, and 15 and a half hours flight direct to South Africa. Plus the 8 hours time difference, and then you go to Liberia and what have you. So it's just a travel around the world, which is never easy, coming back from illness. So yeah, we'll have to monitor that and see.
Because if he did that, I mean, he would probably miss the next 2 games. Well.
Salt Lake game for sure, but then travel back, and with time difference and everything, you know, it becomes a bit of a nightmare. But again, we'll just have to see, because right now it doesn't make sense. You know, he's still out. So we have to honor that and protect the players' health and wellness.
And then just thoughts on San Jose, obviously. Looks like a much better team than last season's San Jose.
Yeah, 100%. For me, San Jose should have 9 points right now. They've been playing really well, really expansive. You know, 600 passes a game. Very good with the ball. 3 weapons up top. Ibo Bise, you know, Cade Cowell. And Christian Espinoza. So these guys, to shut them down over 90 minutes is virtually impossible. We have to do our job. You know, when we have the ball, we're at our most vulnerable moments. So we have to make sure that we have good tactical awareness and a good game plan to keep these guys at bay. And yeah, they've done really well with a good coach who's come in with a mission, and you can see that on the field of play.
And if Tim is out, you like your depth there in center back, with options there to replace him if he can't go.
Yeah, sure. Josh Yarrow, Jay Bell, you know, Johnny Bell, Lucas Bartlett. So we have 3 good depth options there. And, yeah, we're excited about, you know, throwing any one of those guys in. If Tim can't go, I'm pretty optimistic that Tim might be able to go.
Coach, thank you for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Tom, go ahead and kick us off.
Hey, Jay. Hey. Brad was telling me earlier in the week about reading a letter to you guys from a 4th grader about handling the team's success. How does that resonate, and how do you feel? How is this team handling its success?
Yeah, I think that you know, that letter that was read out was just kind of indicative of how important, you know, St. Louis soccer is to the city. So it was something that was, didn't need to be read out loud. He could have kept it to himself, but I think the guys took it as, we have this kind of responsibility as a team to, to make sure that we're fighting for this city, fighting for this club, and when we're doing that, we're doing it the right way.
What have these 3 weeks been like, just with the success, and do you feel momentum building and snowball rolling down the hill, as it were?
Yeah, I mean, I think each game when you get a win, there's always momentum, and to build up 3 in the first 3 matches is huge. But that's not something that we can get ahead of ourselves with. I've been in the MLS a long time. It's a crazy long season that, a lot of teams are always close, neck and neck towards the end of the year. But, this year especially, there's Leagues Cup and Open Cup, so there's so many more games. So you can't get ahead of yourself, but it is good to know that, the principles that we're implementing, the style of play that we want to do has been successful so far, and we know that it can be going forward.
And just we're talking about the attacking philosophy of the back line. You've gotten goals from 2 center backs. You and John Nelson have both contributed on goals. What's the philosophy there on the back line of contributing to the offense as well?
Yeah, I mean, I think, you look at the set pieces, we put a big emphasis on that. We have very good, set piece takers with Indy back there. Very good, yes. Edu, it's the quality that we have, and then the big frames that we have, and we've been able to capitalize that, and I think that's a strength of ours, and we want to continue that. And then with the outside backs, it's always finding your chance to go forward and to try to make something happen. Put balls in the box, then it was a shot. It was still a shot. Yeah, still a shot. Still holding on to that, but yeah.
Jake, with the Whitecaps, you have played against San Jose before. Obviously, they're running in a good run form this year. Can you give your thoughts about San Jose?
Yeah, just from watching them this year, they seem like a different team, a more cohesive team. It seems like Lucha has got them into a good place. They've always had the personnel to be a good team. That front 3 that Brad was talking about is very dangerous. Could be one of the more dangerous 3 in the league. So it seems like for now, they're 3 games in, it's come together. But I think that, playing in St. Louis, having this environment from our fans, it's going to always be a tough place for teams to come and play. And that's going to be an advantage for us, and we want to keep it that way.
So you guys are on the brink of a history now. Do you feel that?
We talked about this in the beginning of the week and how we wanted to go about this game. And this game is just the next game for us. We can't get too ahead of ourselves. We can't think too much, put too much pressure on this game. It's a progression into the season. So it's the 4th game of the season. We've done well for the first 3 games where, we watch film on the things that we can correct and the things that we do well. So we just need to make sure that we're doing the same thing with our principles and our style of play to help us be successful again.
Coach Carnell was talking earlier about the clean sheets. As one of the guys that's been there for these past 3 games, how frustrating is it for you guys to be performing pretty well defensively for most of the games, but then just at the end of it not being able to get that clean sheet? How frustrating is that?
Yeah, it's frustrating to an extent. I think that we're defending well. We're not allowing, a lot of big chances. I think if you look at the stats and the shots on goal that we're allowing per game, it's pretty low. But obviously that's something that, we look at in 3 games, 3 wins, but we still want to be better. And we want to make sure that we're getting those clean sheets, and that's the next progression of, our play.
Coach talked about the uniqueness of this group, about how you guys can compartmentalize and take it 1 week at a time. But there is some stakes this weekend. Is it easier to say what you're saying than to actually put it into practice?
If you were in the locker room, knowing how these guys act and how we are together and as a club and as a team, it is easy to do because, we have that right mentality. Brad, instills that from day one, the next, after a game day. So it's something that we need to be able to do because if we don't, then it can, the atmosphere become too much for us. So it's something that, we've made sure, to put an emphasis on.
I was wondering if I could just get you to think back to the first game in this building. Was there any sort of specific moment in the past 2 weeks that has just sort of stuck with you? Any sort of like vivid memory from that night that you think you'll remember, 10, 20 years from now?
Yeah, I think it was right when the whistle was blown. We all celebrated the win, and then we walked around the field, celebrating with the fans, clapping, and everybody was still there. Everybody was still screaming. It was just something incredible, to just have that kind of back and forth with the fans to, show our appreciation and them show their appreciation for us. And then, being able to celebrate that with my family, with my wife and my daughter, bringing her onto the field, it was just something really special, and I think it's honestly been one of the top moments of my career.
What's your take on Indy's mask? Pro, con, yeah, good, bad?
He's got a few different masks.
Do you have
So
a
we-
favorite at the moment?
I like the clear one. I think he likes the clear one, but he only likes it for like 5 to 10 minutes of a game, and then he just throws it off. But Mask Indy is dangerous. He's a dangerous player.
Is the feeling you guys had coming in this year that people were not expecting much and you guys had something to prove people wrong? Is that going to stick with you guys all season? You think?
I don't know. I think if we keep getting results and we keep playing well, I think we're starting to get the respect. We're still only 3 games in, but if we keep putting that together, a full season, I don't think that'll be the narrative. I think it'll be that what Brad and Lutz have done to build this team and the guys that they brought in, the style of play, was everything that it was right, and it was a right idea, and it was successful. So I hope that we can get to that point. But right now we're fine with where we're at.
We'll end with Indy.
Hey, Jake. I know I've asked a couple people this question on the team, and your answer is going to be of great importance to me. Would you rather fight a full-grown grizzly bear or a silverback gorilla?
I would go silverback gorilla.
And why is that?
I just think grizzly bears I wouldn't have a chance. I would have a chance with a silverback.
I completely disagree with you, but thank you.
Cheers.
Well, first we'll just get it out of the way. Where do you stand on the mask? It lasts about 5 minutes in each game.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the mask, just because I feel like it does hinder my vision a little bit. But to make some of the medical staff happy, I feel like it's my duty to wear it for around 7.5 minutes, and then I take it off, just because I feel like, I mean, in training I do wear it for the most part in training, but in games I do take it off because I feel like it does hinder my vision. So
you're like optimistic at the start that maybe it'll last longer, or are you going in fully expecting the mask is?
No, there's no chance the mask lasts more than 15 minutes. Yeah, I go in there and I'm like, I'm going to wear this. I'm going to make, some of the medical staff happy, and then I'm going to take it off, because if it affects how I play and I can't help the team as much as I want to, then yeah, it's going to come off. So.
Yeah. How many more weeks?
I'm not too sure. I think I have to wear it for like 2 or 3 more weeks in training. But yeah, I think come game time, I think I've already had a chat with medical staff, and they know that I'm going to take it off because I just don't like it.
Brad had told me about the letter he read to you guys from the 4th grader at the start of the week, and just not that you needed help on putting games behind you, but how is this team handling? How easy is it to just say, like a 4th grader would tell you, just put that behind you and move on to the next one and be modest and.
Yeah, I think it's the group that we have in our changing room makes it easy to kind of we have a lot of good leaders in our changing room that have come through preseason. We've kind of figured out who our leaders are, and they kind of get the rest of the boys going, and as well as the coaching staff. They keep us grounded, and they make sure that we don't get too high on the highs and too low when things don't go so well. But yeah, probably our leaders and the coaching staff, they've done a really good job, and we have full confidence that they will continue to do a really good job for us, and yeah, we're going to give it our all for them. So.
Where are you on the whole grizzly bear gorilla deal?
I would much rather fight a grizzly bear, just because I think a gorilla has so much strength that I could just, rip your arms off and whatnot. I don't want to get too gruesome here, but I just feel like you have a better chance of the grizzly bear. With a grizzly bear, I'm just curling up, going like that, and I think I'll be okay.
So it's a scientific deal for you.
In my opinion, yes. Yeah, I don't know. I just think my chances are greater. I think maybe I will suffer, some bad injuries with a grizzly, but I feel like a gorilla is just not going to stop. It's more unpredictable in my opinion. But yeah, I'm surprised at Jake's answer, to be honest.
Indy, can you talk about playing as a number 6? How have you felt in that position?
Yeah, it's definitely a new position for me, but the guys around me, the guys behind me, Tim, Berkey, even Kyle, are more in terms of they're just older than me, so they're more experienced. So it's easier having those people next to me. Obviously, when Edu plays next to me, he's got a lot of experience, very good player. So yeah, even when I had Miggy Perez playing next to me, nothing phases that kid, like nothing. So the people around me make it very, very easy for me to try and do a good job when I'm playing there. Obviously, I still have things to learn, but we're 3 games in the season, and yeah, I think if I can finish the season better than how I started, I think I'll be happy. But yeah, it's a new position. I'm open-minded to it. So yeah.
Same question as far as the home openers. Is there one memory, maybe just 2 weeks later, that still just feels especially vivid in your memory?
Man, I hate to piggyback off Jake, but it was that one walk around the field when we were clapping our fans and everyone was still there. They were cheering for us. Definitely a moment that I won't forget. And the initial walkout probably during warm-up, when you walk out and you kind of see the stadium filling up, and then you go back in for a moment, and then you come out. Obviously, I was a sub, which was made it maybe a little even better for me. But you walk out and you see everybody, and it was honestly it was beautiful. It was a beautiful experience, and that full stadium tifo was very impressive, very impressive. But probably that last walk, if I had to choose one moment.
You speak so glowingly about guys who play next to you. In a match, in a game, what are they doing? What are the things you see from teammates next to you that really do impress you?
Whether it's for example, last game, Miggy made a couple of crunching tackles in the middle. It just gets you going. It gets you amped. It gets you excited. Tim does not stop screaming throughout the whole game, but still, it's a constant voice. It keeps you going. It gets you going. And then obviously you hear Roman sometimes, Kyle as well, and then even from the guys in front of you like Klaus. Sorry, I popped my ears. Klaus, even Rasmus sometimes makes a running behind. He gets a little disappointed. But you can see the emotion. So yeah, just those small moments in games, kind of keep you focused and keep you amped and kind of just ready for whatever comes next.
And playing in the midfield in a system like this, it's kind of like you're always in the middle of it throughout the whole entire game, and you're always obviously pressuring and working hard. What is that feeling like whenever you guys win the ball? You're putting in all this work, you're putting this pressure, and that moment you guys get that ball, how satisfying is that?
It's so satisfying. It's so good because it means you don't have to run 60 yards back. But yeah, obviously you win the ball higher up the field. Percentage-wise, you can get it to the players that are going to do the damage. Klaus, Joaquini, Sam, AZ, Rasmus. If I missed one, they know who they are. Tomas. So yeah, it's satisfying for us, and it's probably much more satisfying for the players in front of us because they get it closer to the goal, and it's more satisfying for the defenders as well because they don't have to, like I said, run back 60 yards. So yeah, when we do it right, it comes off really well, and we still have things to iron out, obviously. But yeah, it's very, very satisfying. Yeah.
Indy game time forecast is 30 degrees Saturday night. How do you guys embrace playing in those kind of conditions?
I don't think the weather will be an issue whatsoever, for us at least. I think I can remember a couple times before we even went on our first preseason camp. It was so cold. I think it was we were training, you would walk to the training facility because I was at the hotel at that stage, and it was -2, and training would start and be -4, and I'm talking Celsius here. Sorry, I'm not sure what that would be in Fahrenheit. 28. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. So I mean, listen. I think all the boys are used to it. If not, we can put our gloves on and snooze. Not snooze actually, but we can put our gloves on, and I think once you get moved and get warm, it's not going to affect us.
With a 3-0 start, things going well, but how big would it be to get a clean sheet to get that elusive shutout?
Yeah, I think Jake and Coach talked about it earlier. I think we're kind of going into it with a clean sheet mentality. We haven't really conceded, in my opinion, a lot of big chances each game, but yeah, it's definitely something we're looking at, and getting a clean sheet will be very satisfying for our back four, for the whole team, because I think it's a collective thing. But yeah, we're not too stuck up on it, but it is something that we're definitely looking to improve on.
And then not to detract this, to bring this into too much of a grizzly bear discussion.
Yeah.
But the old saying from people that have experiences, if you have 6 bullets and come across a grizzly bear, shoot 5 at the grizzly bear, but save 1 for yourself, because you don't want to be attacked by a grizzly bear.
I guess I just have a different opinion to that.
Or bigger gun.
Bear attacks are some of the worst. I mean, I don't know about gorilla attacks.
Yeah.
But bear attacks you don't want to deal with that. And the worst
Okay.
part is that bears have stamina. Bears can chase you.
No, that's the thing though, Tom. If a bear's coming for me, I'm not running. I'm balling up in a ball, and I think they might poke me a couple times.
Well,
Be
that's the strategy.
like disinterested.
Claim
and
that
then
is
just
one of his approved
And if it
strategies.
starts poking me a little too hard, I might throw a little punch towards it.
That's what to do, actually.
It's not to deter from the bear grill. But we'll wrap up with Jake.
His reasoning is absurd, by the way. But yeah, all right. I got another would you rather for you. All right.
Oh, go ahead, hit me.
All right. So would you rather either have to wear an orange clown wig for the rest of your life every day, or whenever you listen to music, it has to be "Baby" by Justin Bieber for the rest of your life?
I got a couple questions. What's the quality of the wig?
Doesn't matter about the
You get it like at a Halloween spirit store, just
So,
clown orange wig.
so I'm just pretty much wearing orange hair for the rest of my life. Can I style it the way I want it?
But it's a wig. You can't make it your own hair. You have to put it on every day.
Or I have to listen to Baby
Yep,
by Justin Bieber.
on repeat
On repeat?
every day.
I probably listen to Justin Bieber.
All right.
But that's only if I listen to music.
Yes, you don't have to.
Okay, well, there you go. Yeah. Baby by Justin Bieber. It's a pretty good song.
All right. Thanks for your time.
Thanks, guys.